Podcast with hosts John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, everybody? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Better Baseball MLB DFS Playbook Live show here on the Fantasy Alarm and Better Sports Network social channels. James, we got 9 games. Keep getting stuck on 11 games. We have 8 games. 8 games now. 8 games, yeah, because they took off the Marlins game. We got 11 yesterday. We got 8 today. 8 games here on the Wednesday slate. I'm all crossed up because we had the NBA news today. You know, it's my brain is now thinking, you know, Eastern Conference, you know, Dame Lillard, Giannis, Heat drama. You know, what are the Sixers going to do? Where's Drew Holiday going to end up? Are my Boston Celtics still any good? So that's where my brain's been going. But we have we have an 8-game MLB DFS slate to talk about here. You were on the playbook today, so nobody knows it better than you. How are we doing, my friend?
Doing well. You know, we're NBA guys too, so like
We're NBA guys first.
Yeah, knee deep in the Lillard news while this baseball slate, while there's teams fighting for playoff spots, while owners are apologizing to specific fan bases about their field not being prepared and they have to play a doubleheader the next day.
What was that about?
Yeah, I mean, that's Justin, I know, buddy. Just shout out to you. I'm actually double Bulls today. Got the Bulls hat, Bulls shirt, but yeah, I mean, it's an interesting slate. There's a lot of firepower at the top of pitching. I think there's some interesting value names as well, and some offenses we're going to take advantage of. Of course, Coors Field is in play as well today.
Coors Field is in play here. Quick look at the weather before we jump into everything here, James. Anything notable happening today that we should be looking to avoid? Any wind, any rain, any field conditions we should be aware of? Nothing?
No. Nothing. I mean, hey, we didn't know about the Mets yesterday, so I guess like Kevin Garnett tells us, John, anything is possible. But as of right now, nothing on the table.
I would good to hear. Good to hear because I could have used the Marlins Mets game yesterday. Alonso ends up homering today instead, so you know it's all good. Let's get into it. Before we do, shout out to our friends over at rtsports.com. Go to rtsports.com/alarm, promo code alarm23. New users will get a 100% deposit match up to $200 with their first deposit. Take part in their DFS Pick'em or their daily fantasy sports contest today over at rtsports.com. DraftKings main slate, James. Here we go. 8 games on the board. Garrett Cole is your top price guy. Pablo Lopez 11-4 in that coveted Oakland A's matchup. Framber Valdez against Seattle. Your 3 guys up over $10,000 tonight.
Yeah, and I think 2 of them stand out for me. And you know, you can get to Framber if you want to. I wouldn't fault anyone for going there, but I think Garrett Cole and Pablo Lopez stand above the rest. And the field, I imagine, again, I stated my case to you last week or upon my return. I'm no longer looking at ownership. It does not matter to me. But as we've seen from the field all year long, it's if you're attacking Oakland, you are going to have high rostership. I imagine Pablo Lopez is the chalk. And that's why I think Garrett Cole is a good pivot. I do think Pablo Lopez, he's the cover of the show. He's the cover of my playbook. I doubled up on the playbook or on the cover boy today. Maybe, you know, one cover boy curse and then eliminates with the second one. Just possibly. I wanted to get all the bad juju aside. But I think Pablo Lopez arguably has more upside than Garrett Cole. And I'm not saying he's a better pitcher by any means because Garrett Cole is going to win a Cy Young. But Garrett Cole he had 47 fantasy points way back in April. Pablo Lopez has done that twice in recent months, and he's had 14 strikeouts in a game and 12 strikeouts in a game twice in that span. So Lopez is my top arm of the day.
So you wouldn't be shocked if I told you that, at least from what I am looking at, Pablo Lopez is expected to be 35% higher rostered than Garrett Cole. So,
no, that wouldn't shock me.
Which indicates to you that nobody is playing Garrett Cole this evening, correct, and everybody is, in fact, playing Pablo Lopez.
Correct.
So where are you going then? What's after that? What's going to happen? Where are we going?
After that, again, Framber is fine. I think, you know, he's very hit or miss. I like Jose Barrios. I'm going back to the Jose Barrios ball, John. And I said it on the podcast this morning. Jose Barrios made like one bad pitch in the Yankees game. I know he allowed 7 hits and whatnot, but he allowed one bad pitch. It was a 3-run home run to Jake Bauers, a Yankee Stadium home run at that. And Jake Bauers, although, has hit home runs at times this year, not in the lineup, so we don't have to worry about the Jake Bauers. But like, what have we said for an extended period of time about the Yankees offense? They don't hit right-handed pitching. That's not that hasn't changed because of one 3-run home run that Barrios basically blanked the team after that. They have a 26% strikeout rate. They're 27th in OPS in September against right-handed pitching. And you can look at across the board, that's been the case all year. So I'm going to go back to the Jose Barrios well. I expect his ownership, and we say this all the time with recency bias, like, oh, he just kind of let everyone down. Because he was higher owned in that start, if I remember correctly. You and I were both a little surprised. I think it was him and Grayson Rodriguez were in like the same price tier. And we were like, oh, this is surprising to see Barrios higher owned than Grayson Rodriguez on a day that he was more expensive than Grayson Rodriguez. I'm going to go back to because recency bias probably keeps the field off of him. And I think there's clear-cut value option that the field's going to go to and turn to here. So I like Barrios quite a bit in the mid-tier.
So I will tell you that your intuition is not correct. He is the second highest rostered pitcher on the slate. So everybody is going to Jose Barrios here.
Well, they should be. They should be.
But I will say the value pitcher that people are going to is a little surprising to me as well. That is Sean Manaea is up over 20% on tonight's slate going up against the San Diego Padres. We've covered extensively the Padres' recent offensive surges, especially against left-handed pitching here. I am surprised to see that's where people are looking to go, even though he is only $6,000.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the reason. He's pitched fairly well recently. Like, he's coming off a good start and he's really cheap. But like, the Padres have just been really good offensively as a whole, right? Like, it's been kind of a thing where, they're like, are they officially eliminated yet? I don't think so. Are they eliminated, John?
I'm pulling up the standings right now. It's obviously very fluid from day to day. So
they're 4.5 games.
I do not see them as officially eliminated. No.
Okay. Like, I get it from a price perspective. I get it from a guy who coming off a good start. But like, you're talking about Sean Manaea, who has missed bats this year. Has not missed a lot of bats lately. Like 2 strikeouts against the Dodgers, 3 against the Rockies, 5 against the Guardians, 1 against the Cubs. Like, this is a guy who was missing bats at a pretty good clip, but he's not. And we've talked about it, like you said. The Padres hit lefties extremely well.
I'm surprised. Zach Thompson's also getting a lot of love at the same price tag. He's a little bit less rostered, but $5,900 for Zach Thompson here against Milwaukee.
So when you think about why this has happened, I mean, this is the blueprint.
The Coors Field,
Pablo Lopez,
right?
Yeah, dude, it's Pablo Lopez. You're paying up for Pablo Lopez. You need somebody who's free, so you just take a shot on 2 guys. Even though, I don't know, Milwaukee just clinched their division. Maybe that's something they're banking on. Like, oh, Milwaukee just clinched the division. They're gonna have a hangover, right? Like, there's something like that. They probably were partying all night, whatever. And then you get Dodgers or Rockies, because even the Rockies are a little expensive. I just don't see it. Milwaukee's also been a good offense of late. They've also hit left-handed pitching fairly well. I mean, the additions of Canna and Carlos Santana directly correlate to left-handed pitching. William Contreras has been awesome against lefties. Like, I would rather just pitch the opposite side of this game and use Wade Miley at 7,400. When you look at what the Cardinals have done in the month of September against left-handed pitching, a team that you and I praised all season long for facing left-handed pitching, they're 27th in OPS and they have a 103 ISO. Like, we profiled it on the podcast this morning. Who is not there for St. Louis? Like, Arenado, Gorman, Contreras, O'Neill, Donovan, all of those guys are out. Also, John, tonight, Paul Goldschmidt not in the lineup. Like, this is just not a good team. And it shows in the standings. So it's something you said on the pod as well that's stuck with me. Like, every year, Wade Miley, regression, it's coming. It's coming.
Not coming today.
And the year, it didn't happen. He's had a 3.2 ERA, and he's the one thing that hurts Wade Miley is that he has 4 starts this year with 5 or more strikeouts. He's made 22 starts, and only 4 times has he had 5 or more strikeouts. That's.
I mean, he is kind of an anomaly. He's got a 3.2 ERA. He's got a 4.8 FIP and a 4.7 xFIP, right? So it's like the regression should have come. It never did. Right? He just managed to fade it the entire season. So it's where we're at. We got a full sample size here. It happens. Sometimes these guys just do not come back down to where we think they're gonna. Then the numbers suggest that they would pitch to, and they just get away with it. I mean, the lack of strikeouts obviously doesn't help him when it comes to the sabermetrics, so that kind of goes against him here. But it's kind of held out well for him here. Anybody else for you when it comes to pitching today?
We talked about Waldron a little bit on the podcast last night. I'm not totally sure when you look at the numbers that he's a 27-year-old career minor leaguer that had a 7 ERA at AAA. Yeah. Like, he had a good outing his last time out, but the aforementioned Cardinals at the forefront again.
In Oakland.
Start before that was Oakland. Like, not to say San Francisco's world beaters, because they've been bad. Like, Seth Lugo demolished them last night. So, if you want to go Waldron, that's fine. I probably still prefer him than Thompson and Minaya, truthfully.
Sure. Moving on over to catcher position here. Again, a lot of top end plays. If you're not playing Thompson, you have William Contreras hitting second. We know he hits lefties pretty well here. Mitch Garver continues to hit the ball well at $4,300 going up against Griffin Canning. If everybody's playing Minaya, it just gives you more incentive to play San Diego. Campusano's at $3,900. Jeffers is at $35,000. So the catcher position looking pretty solid here today.
Yeah, I like all the call-outs you just gave. Contreras, Garver's fine. Campusano's in play. Ryan Jeffers, $35,000. We just got the the Brewers lineups out. Victor Carantini hitting 4th tonight, John. So they're playing Contreras. Obviously there's no. So you look at that lineup and you're like, oh, I can see why people are playing Zach Thompson. There's no Yelich. And this is the thing. They clinched, right? So no Yelich, no Adames, no Santana, no Canna. So you look at the lineup, you're like, oh. But Contreras is in there DHing. Yeah. He still hits lefties. Tyrone Taylor, I like quite a bit as a value play. He's hitting 3rd. Carantini hitting 4th is a good value. So Milwaukee still has a lot of value pieces tonight, including Carantini all the way down at 2,800 hitting.
Sure. Moving on over to first base here. Again, we liked the Miami bats. We can't use the Miami bats here anymore, unfortunately. So where do you find yourself queuing in on when it comes to the first base position?
So Noah Davis has been absolutely smacked around by left-handers. So Freddie Freeman at the top of the list is a decent option, I would say.
Freeman bets we have 4,600 a player, so we'll see what see what we can get to today.
Yeah, it's gonna be, and that's the exact reason why people are playing Zach Thompson and Sean Manaea, because they want to play Pablo Lopez, and they're like, yeah, well, I can't unless I just take a shot on one of these guys. Freeman and Olsen would be the 2 spend ups for me. I think Matt Olsen, we've seen again regression from Jameson Taillon, and he's been bad against left-handed pitching specifically. So, or left-handed hitters specifically, rather. Sorry. So I like both those guys in the spend up tier. It kind of stinks about. I'm blanking. I just lost my train of thought. Santana not being in the lineup, like that kind of sucks. It also sucks that Alex Kirilloff not in the lineup tonight, because he was my favorite value first baseman. Mm-hmm. I'm not totally sure why. Maybe just like a veteran's day off. But
are we in on
playing Solano?
I'm not even gonna try it. Juniel. How do we want to go about it? I see you talking about cheap Cardinals lineup. They got some guys in here. Quedracudo.
We're jumping the gun here. We're at first base.
What did I click on? Oh, second base. Oh, geez, I thought I was at first base still.
Well,
what happened was I was getting caught up in all the cheap Cardinals. Luke and Baker's here, 23, hitting third.
They are.
If you're maybe tonight's the night that the regression comes for Wade Miley.
I mean, I'm playing Wade Miley, so I hope not. Obviously, again, low floor. What are we doing? This game is disgusting. This game is just take this game off the slate, right? Just remove it from eternity. Everyone's resting. Luke and Baker's hitting third, and on the other side, Victor Caratini's hitting fourth. If you want to play St. Louis, by all means, do so. I prefer the Wade Miley side. It'll help you get
the Dodgers.
It will help you get the Dodgers, sure. Here's my question to you: if St. Louis is highly rostered, I'm fading because I'm playing Wade Miley, and I'm taking a firm stand on that side.
I mean, nobody's playing Wade Miley according to the ownership. So
good. I don't have much interest in St. Louis.
Okay.
So I see through you in here talking. I see right past you because I ain't playing the Cardinals tonight. If that bites me, so be it.
But right now, people are playing Cardinals even though they're not playing.
It makes sense because they're cheap.
Teams, Cardinals. They're not actually. Zach Thompson's getting love, but nobody else. Actually, this needs to be probably reran. We'll see if we can get an update here because they have Goldie in this still. So now that they have the official lineup out, we'll see if we get an update before the end of the show here. Give you an idea, but at least for now, everybody is under 10% except for Thompson. So we'll take a peek. All right, now moving on over to second base here. We got Mookie at the top, obviously. It's certainly a guy we're going to be looking to get into our lineups. Ha-Seong Kim at 45 against Manaya, another great opportunity for him here. If you're not playing Miley, Tommy Edman does hit lefties and is a regular in that lineup. He's leading off at 4K, as is Eduardo Julian there at 4K as well.
Second's loaded tonight because you could play Mookie here, obviously. I love Ozzie Albies, just given Tyone struggles against left-handed pitching. Jorge Polanco is interesting to me up against the kid Estes, who gave up 3 home runs in his debut. Minnesota's obviously a better hitting environment than Oakland is. Ha-Seong Kim crushes lefties. Tommy Edman, Edouard Julien at $4,000. He, although struggling, has mashed right-handed pitching specifically, and he's always on base. Even despite his 156 average his last 10 games, 357 OBP because he has 10 walks. 379 OBP, big-time run score, 57 in 105 games. So I think second has a boatload of guys you can play, and then even when you drop down even further, Brendan Rodgers is someone that I've talked about a lot the last few days. He only hits in Coors Field, and that's remained true. $3,600 against Emmett Shaheen, and Monasterio gets a lefty. So I think there's a lot of second base options that I would.
I would agree with you. Any other key value maybe that you're pointing to? You're ready to move on.
I mean, if you wanted to play the cheap guy that's 0 for 12 from the who's 30 years old and hasn't played
2 runs. He's got 2 runs.
Hasn't played a game since 2016. Yeah, by all means, do it.
He's cheap. Third base. Talk to me, man. We got obviously again a lot of heavy talent here. I keep being gravitated towards the Padres. If everybody's going to be playing them, so where are you keying in on here?
Yeah, I mean, I love Max Muncy tonight. Another big night last night. He's starting to really come around. I mean, he's had a good season other than the average. Everything else.
We pointed out the average, and he said, "You know what? F you, John. Here's 3 hits." So,
so I would definitely get to Muncy in my Dodger stacks again. Noah Davis has struggled against lefties quite a bit. I like Machado. He continues to be really good, pretty much on a nightly basis. As San Diego goes, I know he wasn't in the lineup yesterday, but he's a really good play. That's it for me up in this tier. You could obviously always play Austin Riley if you're being contrarian, you could play Alex Bregman because Bregman's been good against righties, but
All right, where are
you know?
you going next then? We going all the way down into like the 3Ks, the 4Ks. I mean, Willie Castro's 34 down
Yes.
here. Maybe that's where we cue in on.
Yeah. It's Willie Castro. He's been better against right-handed offerings this year. We know his pedigree as a base stealer. He's flashed a little power lately. And I just have to point this out. I just want to ask. I would play Miles Mastrobuoni. I mentioned him yesterday's show. Did you hear maybe the best broadcasting job of all time in that Cubs? Also, has there ever been a better trio of Johnson, Hand, and Mastrobuoni? Could you ever find a better trio of names in one singular play? Possible?
Very difficult to do for sure.
That was I just shout out to, was it the Cubs or the Braves?
I think it was the Braves. He said something about Jeff Francoeur.
Yeah, he said something. Yeah, I mean, job well done, tip of the bald cap. But I would after that, how can I phrase this? I would dip my hand back into.
I was waiting for you to figure out what pun you were trying to create there. So I would go Moustakas against Dane Dunning here as well. I'm good on going against Dunning. That guy's garbage. So shortstop here, Bichette's up at top. It doesn't seem like Seager's going to be playing tonight for the Rangers. We have 4 Padres we can pick from all at shortstop. So you can kind of plug and play there however you'd like as well.
Yeah, I mean, Xander is hard not to love, just given recent success. Been one of the best players in baseball of late, hitting atop their order recently. Just kind of doing everything again. We talked about it, like, going to end a 2020 year, even though it was a subpar year. It's going to be 2020, 800 OPS, 290, 285 average. But he's really hit lefties well over the last 30 days, 400 ISO, 500 WOBA. So Xander stands out the most to me at shortstop. Obviously, you could play any of the Padres because, as you mentioned, they all, for whatever reason, have shortstop eligibility. I don't hate Dansby if you're in on the Cubs. I don't hate the Cubs tonight, but Vines has been okay. I don't hate Tovar tonight.
Vines is actually getting some ownership tonight. So.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. He's been a fairly decent pitcher, and like, you always talk about win equity when you're talking about the Braves, right? Like, there's obviously that. So I like Tovar 4,400 against Shaheen. Shaheen had all those strikeouts the last time he pitched, but there's a reason why he was sent down. Like, he was hit very hard prior to his send down and demotion, really, to the bullpen on a team that needs pitching. Like, they lost Julio Urias to his BS that should keep him out of baseball for a long time and maybe
probably forever.
They announced they're not getting Buehler back. They signed Ryan Yarborough. Like, there's a lot of question marks. There was an opening for Shaheen and he didn't take it. So I would definitely not shy away from Rocky's in-course field. So Tovar hitting second stands out to me as well.
Any other value plays down here? I didn't find a ton, so I wasn't sure if you did the playbook today, if anybody stuck out to you.
Yeah, I mean, Miguel Rojas to get exposure to that game is fine. Zach Nato hit second last night. Didn't have a great game, but 3,300 had 7 fantasy points. And we know he is a pretty good baseball player, or at least we've seen flashes of him, the potential to be so. So if I was spending down, it would be Rojas or Nato.
Over at the outfield position, again, a lot of top end plays. I know you're all in on JD Davis here, $5,700.
Not JD Davis. Definitely not JD Davis.
Sorry, JD Martinez. JD Martinez there going up against Davis. That threw me off there again. $5,700. Mookie Betts is here. Talk to me about this outfield position here, sir. You did the playbook today.
Yeah, so crazy idea would be to play Acuna or Judge or Julio Rodriguez and whatnot. Like, if you want to play them, by all means. But I do think Mookie and JD and Tatis stand out to me of the top tier guys. I mean, not a lot to say about the Mookie and JD Martinez spot because they get a premier spot in Coors Field. But again, it's kind of been the point of the show. Like Sean Manaea is getting a lot of ownership, whether he deserves it or not. He is, and he's $6,000, and he's largely been a bad pitcher this year. When you look at his numbers against right-handed bats on the season, 192 ISO allowed, 337 WOBA. And, you know, like, I get that it's in San Francisco. I get that it's a good ballpark for pitching. But you look at San Diego's lineup, and Tatis included in this, they are an elite hitting team against left-handed pitching. It's kind of what we've said all year about the Yankees, right? It's like there's just teams that hit from one side of the plate better than others. John, they have 8 projected righties in their lineup tonight. Like, what? And their hottest baseball player, their best baseball player right now, Juan Soto, is their only lefty. Like, when he's your only lefty, there's an advantage to be had. Tatis on the year, 238 ISO against left-handed pitching, 408 WOBA. Like, he has been dominant against left-handed pitching all year long. Say what you want about him and say that, like, the struggles that he's obviously had this year, it has not come against left-handed pitching. So Fernando Tatis at low ownership and Fernando Tatis at 5,400 really, really sticks out.
Yep, I agree. Nolan Jones on under 5K. Love him at $4,800. Feels like a really strong offer. Ozuna against Tyon at 46. I think you can just kind of go all Atlanta here. Michael Harris is 44, hitting 6th tonight. That feels like a pretty good spot. Outman and Coors at 45. Blackman's leading off. If you want to just game stack Dodgers, Colorado, it's certainly doable. If Say can put past the drop ball, he did hit again, another triple, 2 RBIs. Hopefully he can clear his mind from that. Kepler in the mid tier, some strong 4K plays.
A lot of strong 4K plays, and Nolan Jones stands out above all. 500. He's hitting 500 over his last 10 games. In a little more than 100 games, he's going to go 20-20 as well. And
what did they give up for Nolan Jones? It wasn't anything, right?
Cleveland is just, dude. What is
gave Nolan Jones away pretty much?
Shout out to Cleveland, knowing they needed power bats in their lineup and then trading.
They
Nolan
got
Jones
Juan
away.
Brito. What is Juan Brito doing these days?
He's not Nolan Jones. He's not doing what Nolan Jones is doing.
Juan Brito in the minor leagues this year. He hit 214 at AAA, 270 at AA this year for Mr. Juan Brito.
Solid.
So
Solid.
not going 20-20 at the major league level with a 900 OPS.
No. But if you do add those numbers up together,
you still don't get what Nolan Jones did this year.
Nolan Jones stands out the most of this 4K tier for sure. I think you gave some good shouts. Michael Harris against Tyon, Max Kepler, 4,300. I think the two guys that I gravitated directly to. And then
Griffin Canning is getting a little love tonight. I don't know if that's because Seager's not going to be in the Texas lineup, but again, I'd be okay going Texas and just being a little contrarian tonight if that's the case.
Yeah, especially after the letdown last night. Like, they scored 1 run and again, we talked about Detmer's recent success. He's been a roller coaster. Because I liked Texas last night, but I understood Detmers is he has been a good pitcher at times, like a really good pitcher at times this year. Flirted with a no-hitter, had a no-hitter last year. Like, he's objectively could be a good pitcher, like, in this game for a long time. I do like Texas, though. Evan Carter, 3,900, is going to be in the lineup with a righty on the mound. So, yeah, I mean, I'd be perfectly fine going back to Texas.
Yeah, for sure. Evan Carter was mentioned, $3,900. Super, super strong play here. Jordan Walker is 3,700 against Miley. I know you like Miley, but again, a good price tag for some Cardinals plays here. Where else are you looking under 4K tonight?
Dodgers, I mean, Jason Hayward, 39. Probably not so much Peralta. He's been really bad, but he is in Coors for what that's worth, 3,800. I lean more Hayward's direction. Hayward's just been the better player all year long. Mm-hmm. Matt Wallner is it going to be a really key part of my lineups tonight? Fits everything. $3,400, has a lot of power. I mean, 498 slug, 13 home runs in 72 games. Makes a lot of sense. Had a grand slam last night, back-to-back really big games. So Wallner is probably my favorite outfield value. He's right there with Tyrone Taylor, who is 2,900, hitting third for Milwaukee tonight. And he gets a lefty. He has a 219 ISO this year against lefties. He had a 200 ISO against lefties last year. So between Wallner and Taylor, I'll be getting a lot of my outfield value.
All right. Let's go on and give us our home run calls for the evening here, James.
Home run call of the evening. I would have said Kirilloff. I'm going to go Nolan Jones as my home run call for the evening.
I like that. I think for me, I'm going to go. Let's see. What do I want to do for my home run call this evening? Let's go Kyle Tucker.
Pass the ball to Tucker.
Shadow Fenstey.
Yeah,
Tucker's obviously got the power, 968, 611 slug the last 10. So I feel like he's due to get that 30th home run this evening. So give me some Tucker here. Top stack, I think we're obviously talking Coors and Dodgers as a game stack. Where are you going if you're not including those two teams?
I would say my top stack it's San Diego because how expensive they are, and then my cheap stack you could pair with them is Minnesota.
Okay.
I think Minnesota is probably too cheap. I wish Kirilloff was involved in that because he's $3,200, but Wallner's 34, Jeffers is 35, Castro's 34. Their 3-hitter and Donovan Solano's 2,800. Like Jorge Polanco is 4,700. He's the most expensive play in their lineup. So San Diego is the alt top stack to the Coors game, but I like Minnesota quite a bit as my pairing with them.
All right, let's build a lineup here, sir. We're going to go Lopez and Berrios, or do you want to go Berrios and Miley and save a little bit more money? And what do you want to do?
I want to use Lopez, but I want to use Miley.
Okay.
Especially if people are not playing him.
$3,900 then for our catcher and remaining positions here. Carantini is 2,800 in cleanup.
Yep.
If you want.
That's the one.
That's the one, okay. 4K for the remaining plays here. Who's the auto plugs for you? Kim, probably?
I plugged Wallner 34 just to save. So, like, the first base became a position that I almost want to exclusively spend up on.
Okay.
Without Kirilloff and without Carlos Santana. I don't see much value down here. Like, Rowdy gets a lefty. Obviously, 2,600 is a good price. Sure. We're playing Miley, so we're not playing Luke and Baker.
Did you do Cooper
so, like, Freeman
or Profar?
Maybe.
I mean, you like the Padres. They're both going to be getting a lot of it.
Yeah. No, I know. And it's not for the, like, they just haven't been great. Like, even Garrett Cooper. I mean, Garrett Cooper's been good against lefties this year. I'd probably lean Cooper if I had to pick.
Okay. I'm just thinking about for some value. I mean, if you wanted to spend out, where were you going?
It's Freeman or Olsen.
Freeman or Olsen for you. Oh, you want the Coors.
I mean, it's
just, we
Freeman,
need that. We got to
my...
bang off somebody else here.
I mean, look, I know we said San Diego is the alt stack. I think LA is better than them. They're obviously San Diego is just
LA is also a lot more expensive than them.
Yeah, no, I know. They're 30x less owned, and LA, if you want to play 4 guys or 50 or 5, including Will Smith, are $5,400 or more. I'm not saying I disagree there. I'm just saying I think LA is the better stack.
Okay.
I would, like Jason Hayward or Rojas at short. I know Rojas isn't like much. It doesn't have a lot of upside, but this is why people are playing cheap pitching, right? This is why people are playing.
And if we play Berrios over Lopez, we have $4,100 to play with for the rest of the position. I mean, it's just.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to do that? Is that? I'm
fine
with that.
Berrios and Lopez are getting the same amount of rostership, so they're picking one and then they're taking a value play. They're not taking the value play we're playing, but they're taking a value play.
Play Machado at short. And then we could play Willie Castro at third.
$45.55. Is there a $2,400 outfielder hanging around here somewhere?
Tyrone Taylor's 500 off. That stinks.
Florial against Berrios. Not happening there. There wasn't a $2,400 second baseman, was there? Oh, there was, but you were pitching a guy against him.
I'm absolutely not playing the 0 for 12 30-year-old.
No. If we didn't do Miley, I know you like Miley, but it's just seeing, right? Didn't do Miley. You did Thompson that people are playing.
Then we have to move off Carantini.
Cambisano, $2,800 outfielder.
100 off Taylor, so.
Still 100 off Taylor. Pez is hitting cleanup. Huh? Taylor's 29. Yeah, we're dollar short. I think, well, if we don't go Hayward, we can just do the 1-2. We don't need the 3 stack, I guess, right?
Yeah.
It was this 33.50. You like Tyrone Taylor still?
Well, we're not playing.
Oh yeah, we're playing.
I mean, I don't.
We can go back to Miley.
So
I mean, that's the point. I mean,
you build this lineup how you want. If we're playing Zach Thompson,
well, I'm just saying, I'm not playing Zach Thompson. People are playing Zach Thompson. I'm just following the crowd. Just seeing what the roster.
Well, don't follow the crowd, John. You play Baltimore against like Cy Young winners, like
Taylor. Well, because the matchups dictate that's the good spot to go. All right, $3,400 for a final outfielder here. None of these look great. Let's move back to the outfield. Is there a $3,400 second baseman, maybe?
Monasterio.
Terang against lefty. I'll do Monasterio. That works. All right, we got $400 left over. Got a couple of Brewers. We got a couple of Twins. We got a one-off Machado. We got 2 Dodgers in here with Miley and Berrios in the lineup. Thoughts? Concerns? Questions?
Yeah, it's fine.
The Prince, I got you. Let me go check out FanDuel real quick. Tell you what we're looking at here. Lobby, pitching. Today's pitching. Let's see. Lopez is 11-3. Cole is 11-1. Framber is 10-6. So all pretty expensive. Berrios is $9,900. So you're getting under 10K. We do like Jose Berrios today. Wade Miley is 8K in the mid-tier. James is a big fan of Wade Miley today. You got him at 8K on FanDuel. Darius Vines, however we're going about it. Again, getting a lot of like on the DraftKings rostership. He is $5,800 on the FanDuel. So hasn't pitched overly deep. Has 1 game of 6 innings, but just some cheap plays. So I think we're probably settling in then on Berrios, Lopez, and Miley for FanDuel pitching here, sir. So
San Diego offense, by the way, on FanDuel is crazy. Cheap.
Crazy cheap.
You want to get there.
So top sacks for us today were the Braves, the Dodgers, the Padres. Some value. We like Milwaukee here this evening. So if you're looking for some plays there, you can also get us in Discord, and James's playbook is out live on Fantasy Alarm right now. Final thoughts for the folks at home here, Grande?
No, let's just win. Let's just win some money
baby,
tonight, John.
I believe is the quote. So we'll be back tomorrow. We got a 5-game main slate. I'll be on the playbook. We'll talk to you all then. Let's go make some money tonight, guys.